All right, you guys, we're talking about lust. I feel like we throw that word around so loosely, but I feel like a lot of people don't stop and think about what it actually is. So let's take a look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. It says, "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." And I'm talking about both men and women today, okay? Lust isn't just about physical attraction. It is simply desire that crosses God's boundaries. Jesus made it perfectly clear that it starts in the heart, not just in the physical act or in actions. It cannot give you what you are looking for. So let's talk about how it shows up on social media. It's something as simple as scrolling. It can feel harmless, but we know that it's not always neutral. We know. Let's look at Job chapter 31, verse 1. It says, "I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a girl." So the very fact that you can even enter into a covenant with just your eyes, I feel like that can explain why Christ was telling us that even if you've looked at a woman lustfully, you've already committed adultery in your heart. It's like you've already agreed to the sin just by the very act of looking and thinking about it in your heart without even physically doing anything. What you watch, what you like, what you post, it has the tendency to shape your heart. I feel like social media, it can either feed lust or desire, or feed your faith. That is exactly why it matters what you're letting in. And if you feel like your feed is pulling you away from God, it's time to make a change. With everything that you post online, what is your motive or your intention behind what you're putting out? Because I feel like sometimes you can put up stuff on social media to be looking for a certain type of attention. Not everybody, but it can happen, like whether you want to give off a certain energy or whatever it can be, you have to be careful of that and just be real with yourself and ask, why am I posting this? Does this glorify God, or does this appeal to mankind in an inappropriate way? It's something to think about. You could lead someone down the wrong path just by what you posted. If it's something that could be provocative, and provocative doesn't always have to mean sexual, but just anything that is provoking a certain response or a certain energy from someone else, that's something you do want to be mindful about.